So, what was the change you did with respect to various aspects in this particular stage? What were the gross margins for that particular model, Bala? Approximately. So, what are the other engagement models that you're doing right now, Bala? Hi, Bala.
Hi, Palani.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, in the last two videos, we've had the opportunity to understand the phase 1 and phase 2 of growth of your company. Phase 1 largely covered about how you started up your company. Phase 2, we touched upon how you stabilized the company. Now we come to one of the most important phases, phase 3, which is the breakthrough phase for you, if I'm not wrong. So, can we get started?
Sure.
In phase 2, you scale from 15 to 65 employees, Bala. So I think it's a very rapid rate of growth compared to the market. So what was the change you did with respect to various aspects in this particular stage? I think we can go one by one. If you can touch upon the changes you did in marketing, that will be first.
Okay. So, frankly speaking, that phase we didn't have a lot of marketing, at least in the initial 1 year. Initial 1 year was fueled by more of a customer referral and getting some new connections from NASCOM, BNI, and other sources. It mostly came through organic growth. But later, towards the end, we started introducing marketing functions. Marketing is pretty new to Techno Tackle, I would say.
Well, I had said that marketing is pretty new to Techno Tackle. So during that phase, was there any change in target segment that you focused on compared to the previous?
Definitely. Yes, definitely. That's a very big yes. So initially we were focusing on anyone, whoever comes to us. Then we identified our niche segment as tech companies, be it tech services or tech product companies. We felt that they have a constant need for developers in their organization. So we changed our target focusing there, and it was pretty easier for us to crack deals as well because they knew about technology. We don't have to go and educate them saying what is technology, what is the advantages of technology. All those headaches we were able to avoid because they themselves knew those things, and the only thing they require is proper resources or proper developers who can solve their particular problem. So it was a razor sharp focus, and that really helped us speed up our growth.
So with respect to the previous target segment, which you had just touched upon, what was it and how you managed to generate those leads?
So previously we were looking at non-technical SME business owners, where we were trying to identify their problem and try to give a custom solution for them with technology. We were doing something of that sort. There the biggest challenge was since the clients were non-technical, it was difficult for them to convey it in a manner that we could understand because we were new to the domain and they do not know the technology. We both are in different ends of the spectrum, and it was very difficult for us to understand each other's perspective. Because of this, there were several communication gaps, reworks, etc. And because of this, the budgets generally overshoot and customers won't pay for the overshooted budget, and we have to take the loss. So such things were pretty common before. These were some of the issues we were facing in the previous target segment. And once we changed the target segment, we also changed our business model to something like time and material, fixed monthly contracts, etc., where the client pays for the time of the developers. So in this model, if we give quality developers who are able to deliver consistently, the clients were quite happy and they were willing to pay for the time of the manpower involved.
So what was the engagement model that you had followed previously, Bala?
Previously, we used to follow something called fixed bid, where we try to understand the project scope and we do the assessment and we give a fixed quotation, a fixed timeline. Say this takes 1 lakh, 2 lakh, whatever, and it will take 1 month, 2 months, whatever, based on the project requirements. There, the biggest challenge was software is pure imagination. I don't know what customer imagines. The customer doesn't know what I imagine. So the customer tells some story. We try to imagine something and give an estimate, but the customer would have imagined a totally different thing. So only after the end of development, we will find out that what we imagine and what he imagined is totally different. And since he is also from non-technical background, he won't be very understanding, and he will expect us to rework everything and do as per his imagination, which will double our effort and which will double our cost. And at the end of the day, the budget won't move even by an inch. So it was like very difficult for us to survive and scale in the previous phase. So a small tweak in that model really helped us propel.
What were the gross margins for that particular model, Bala? Approximately.
Do you mean the fixed bit model?
Yeah.
Fixed bit model, even if I used to get 10%, I would be happy. But in reality, most of the time it will be in minus. So it will be a loss-making affair on this. Even at 10%, I would have been happy, but in reality, most of the case it was loss-making only.
So, if I were to summarize the change from fixed bid model and the corresponding target segment into a more tech-savvy target segment and the corresponding change in the engagement model kind of kicked off this virtuous cycle. That'd be fair to say.
Correct. That's true.
So what are the other engagement models that you're doing right now, Bala?
We do something like time and material, which is like, say, suppose you have a project and you need developers for a few days or a few weeks or a few hours, maybe. We provide the developer and the materials needed for them to work on the project, and we will be built on a hourly basis. Say if he works for 2 hours, he will be billed for that 2 hours on the pre-agreed per hour rate. It may be like $10 per hour, $12, $15, whatever may be the agreed amount based on the skill set, based on the duration of the project, etc. The hourly rate varies. So it's a very simple model. Hours spent into per hour rate equal to the bill amount. There we keep the hours spent transparently. Every day our team members used to report to the client saying that, okay, we have spent totally X number of hours today and we have done these, and we have pushed the code to your repository. So it becomes easier for the client also to verify the deliverables, and it was good for us as well because it is like our gross margins will be fixed. Suppose the customer increases the requirement, obviously the time is going to increase, the bill is going to increase. The customer is also aware of that, we are also aware of that. Because of that, the customer, they themselves tend to do it in an efficient manner instead of like, okay, you do everything and at the end I will review and then I will change entire thing like how it was there in the previous model. That had changed. Now that the billing is on the client side, any loss it will go for them. So because of that, they are more conscious, and also as I said before, our targeting has changed and now it is all technical people. So by default, they are all aware. So they would be most likely having more experience than us. So they know how to do it better and they are able to do it better. And in a win-win manner, I would say. We are also happy, they are also happy.
What are the other business models? Is there anything else?
The next one is something called staff augmentation, where say this is mostly for B2B IT services or product companies. Say suppose an IT company, example, say take Wipro. Just an example, say Wipro gets a project, a new project from a US customer, and they need 20 Java Spring Boot developers to be deployed from next week since it's an urgent project from the client side. So will they have 20 bench resources in-house? It's really a question mark. They may have 10, they may have 5, but it will be very difficult for any company to have exact amount of bench resources at any point of time matching the budget and the experience of the client. So that time there are two options: either go and take from the market. Here, in this first option, the problem is it is a very time-consuming affair. So they have to line up the candidates, schedule the interviews, do the background verification, and then once you roll out the offer, he will join after 2 months or 3 months after serving the notice period. It's a very time-consuming thing, and as I said, since it's a time-sensitive project, the customer will not be willing to wait for so long. So here, what these IT companies do is they generally come to other IT companies, say like Techno Tackle, and they say, "Hey, this is the job description. We need 5 developers on this. We have 15 developers. We need another 5 developers. If you can get me, and I'll give a margin for you." Say, suppose if the candidate's salary is like 50,000, they may pay 60,000 or 70,000, whatever it is. We can have a margin, a little bit of like 10 to 30% margin based on the contract duration, experience, etc. We can have a small margin and we can give it to them. They will be using our developer for the duration of the project, say maybe 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. And once the project is over, they will give back the resource to us, and we will have to keep them on bench till we find the next project. So this model really worked for us, and this is like currently we have many IT services and product companies who are using our services for staff augmentation.
So it's essentially just in time for a service industry.
Correct. Very true. Yes.
So is it all Bala, or do you have any other model that has helped you achieve this?
Correct. During the later phases, we discovered one more model called manager teams, where some customers, especially from US or abroad, so they already have a project or a product which they have developed over the years, and they are looking for a cost-effective and quality team to manage and maintain the product. Say hiring an in-house team in US may be super expensive, but they also do not want to take individual developers on staff augmentation basis and manage them. They may not have the time or bandwidth to do that. So in that case, they want someone to give an entire team for them. Say, suppose the project needs one UI UX designer, one front end, 2 back end, one database engineer, one UI, one QA, one project manager. Say they need some company who can provide all this in a as a packaged manner, and at say a fixed monthly bill, something like that. So they will be using that team to manage the project. It can be new requirements in the project, maintenance tickets, bug fixes reported by the existing customer, etc. So they will be using that team for as long as the product life cycle. It's also one of a profitable business since the billing is in dollars, and that is also something we have explored in the last 2 years and propelled our growth, mainly the bottom line of the company.
Can you throw a bit of light on the HR department, how it panned out, how you were managed? Apart from the engagement part, what other factors do you think help you in ensuring good retention rate at this time? So what was your attrition rate at this point?
So in 2022 to 23, it was less than 5% actually, whereas the industry.
In what other departments were you able to strengthen at this point in time? Were there any other functions that you focused on at this point in time?